Hey everyone, welcome in and welcome to Connected Human Conversations. Always so happy to see you guys here. Love that you show up. Love that you come every week. Love that you participate in the comments with us and with one another. So, Kelly's not here this week if you didn't notice, and going to be doing something a little different from what I normally do on Connected Human Conversations. But I saw Tim on Jenny's show this week telling his personal story, and it got me thinking, while I don't typically do guests and we don't have that kind of like spotlight, we usually talk about like one topic that we all discuss. I was hearing Tim's story, and I remember when I first started telling my story, I couldn't do it if people weren't willing to give me the space to do it. Right. So once you start doing it, you really, I don't know if you're experiencing this, Tim, but like once you start talking about it, it's like you need to talk about it more. Right. And there's more that you want to get out there. And so while I don't normally have this format, I wanted to offer this format to you, Tim, who's been a friend. And I know I've been with you a bit as you're leading up to this story. So I know what's been going on. And, just remind people that you were feeling really stuck a couple of weeks ago, and then you have this breakthrough. Yes. And so part of that breakthrough, I believe, and you can tell us, brought you to this place of wanting to tell your story. So tonight's conversation was going to be on change. Sorry, it's all yours after I'm done. It was going to be on change. And I suspect that will be a topic that is going to be really relevant when it comes to your story at some point, I have to imagine. And so what I want to do is give Tim some really great uninterrupted time. So I'm going to go through you guys, say hello, and then we're going to dive in. And I want you guys to keep in mind that this is new for Tim. And we want to support him and make him feel loved and let him know how important he is.
Wait. Did you say love? What are we saying?
Loved. He's going to feel loved.
Lurved.
Supported and lurved.
There's no head tilt for the lurv?
Lurv I don't need to do it for, but I need the wind up. I need the whole I lurv you for it to really sound right for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But let me quickly say hello. I see Brian and Katie J are here. Thank you. And James. And here, I can put some of them up. But again, the other thing I want to remind you guys is I'm not going to put a lot of comments up during this. I really want the focus to be on Tim and his story. And like I said, I remember, it's okay. You have this. You've got this. I remember going through the first few times of telling my story and that being difficult. And so I want this space to be yours in any way you feel fit to use it. Hi, Steve and Jenny. And say hello to a couple of you guys. Thank you so much for being here. All right. So let's see. Steve, we love you too. All right. So again, Lurv. Can you change? Can you break a 5? Haha. Who's High Friday? That one I don't know. Sorry. I don't know this one. I'll check on my phone in just a minute, but thank you for the levity. It took me a second. Did you see my wheels turning when I read it? Okay. Yes. So Tim, I'm going to start with a little bit of what I know and let you go from there. Sure. I started to allude to that you had been feeling stuck and you had really been trying to change yourself, right, into something else in order for that to resonate with people, in order for that to be your brand, in order for that to be like the thing we do, right? We're going to figure out, how do I present? And ultimately, what you found out was that you, right, all you had to do was be you. And in that journey, like I said, I believe that you came to this part of your story. And when you are in your truth and you are really you, these are the things that come forward and you share with people. So please share with us what's going on for you.
Yeah. So thank you so much for having me, Nancy. I really appreciate it. So what happened was Nancy started this radiating real movement. I don't know exactly when you started it, but, and how it works, I'm sure you guys have heard about it, but you show up, you take a picture or a video, you show up as you are, whether you're just waking up or whatever state you're in. You don't have to be a perfect, polished LinkedIn or Instagram image or whatever platform. And you just share a little bit about it. And you tag Nancy and use the hashtag radiating real. And so I started doing this, and I had been working with a branding coach, and I've been trying to figure out, like, who do I want to present as on social media? Like, I know who I am. I'm like lighthearted. I'm fun. I want to help people. I'm kind. I want to show love. all the things. But like on Shout Out Saturday, I'm kind of more wacky. On the Tim and Jim show, I'm kind of more laid back. Just in general, I think I'm more fun and lighthearted than other situations. So what happened was I started doing these posts, and then what happened was Steve Sullivan posted on LinkedIn one day this video about National Cancer Survivor Day. And I didn't realize it was National Cancer Survivor Day. And in 2008, I was diagnosed with chronic myeloid leukemia. And I've shared a little bit about it on social media over the years, not too much. Like when it's your birthday and Facebook says, do you want to, ask people for a donation and for a certain cause for your birthday, I would say the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. And so I'd done that. But other than that, I really had not shared my story on social media. So for the last 6 days, I've been doing these radiating real posts. And so when I saw Steve's video, I thought, this must be the time that I'm supposed to tell my story about leukemia. I was like waffling back and forth a little bit, but I was like not really waffling back and forth. I was like, the time must be right, because what happened was Jenny Gold was supposed to have Nancy Lewis Hill on her show. Brian Schulman, often when we hear stories like Tim's today, we feel a sense of helplessness. Nancy's doing the pointing thing. Here, let's both point. Screenshot.
I just wanted to put it up there. Sorry, keep going. You don't have to read what I put up there.
Oh, but I'm not used to being the guest. That's what I usually do.
Then I will be mindful of that, because I do not want to interrupt your story. You were at the point where you were on Jenny's show, please.
Yes. So Jenny invited me on her show when Nancy Lewis Hill couldn't make it. And she tagged me in the Facebook group and was like, Tim, you have to be on my show. And at that point, she kind of knew that I had leukemia because it had come up by accident, sort of, because she's been in my live streaming course. And so then I told my story on Friday, and then Nancy was nice enough to invite me today to share more. So thank you.
You're very welcome. Like I said, when I was starting to share my story, I could not have done it if people didn't give me the space. So I'm more than happy to do it. I know there's a whole lot more to the story, but I'm curious, because it's easy for a lot of us, and changes as one of our themes. Like when things shift and change to flow and synchronicity, we often can recognize it. Do you have a sense of what held you back from saying it before?
Well, not everyone in my family knew or knows. I've received messages since Friday saying, "Oh, leukemia. I hope you're doing okay." So that's one thing. I just haven't told a lot of people over the years. I've told, very close family members and some very close friends. But that's about it. And also I have kind of thought about, like, from a business standpoint, am I going to not get clients because I have leukemia? At this point, I'm kind of like, I'm doing well, like I can function fine, clearly. I have energy, I can work. I don't have any side effects of the medication that I take. So I just figured all the stars aligned this week, and it was time to share my story.
We're so privileged to receive your story. Let me start there. And it's so incredibly brave to do this. And you are here making it look easy, right? Often when we're ready to tell our story, we can tell it, right? We're ready to.
It's not easy.
Exactly. I want to remind everyone, this is not easy to do. So thank you for the privilege. Thank you for trusting us. I know
Thank you for providing the space.
How proud I am of you and the steps you've taken to share who you really are with LinkedIn. And I have seen in you a shift, for sure. And well, I do want to get more into your story, but I was, one of the things that I wanted to find out from you was, what has happened? No, I know you've gotten messages and stuff like that, but like sort of the energetic, emotional piece in addition to that, what have you been experiencing since you started to tell your story, like more publicly, which is really one time? You had said a little bit, but to really tell what's going on, this is very new to you.
Yeah, I mean, after I told my story on Friday, like you said, I got messages. I got, even leading up to that, with doing the Radiating Real posts, and when Jenny promoted that show and when Steve promoted the heck out of that show, I got so many messages of just support and people sharing, their family member had cancer or died of cancer or whatever it was. And I should mention that this month is also National Cancer Survivors Month. If I didn't already, I can't remember if I said that. But I think it's important also that like we acknowledge survivors and their families, because they also go through so much, and friends, but also loved ones who have passed from cancer also. We remember them as well.
For sure.
Yeah.
And it is a lot. Yeah, I agree, right?
Yes.
It's happening very quickly. I mean, literally, like it's been like a week-ish, maybe a little bit more. And when that happens, it can be, I mean, for me, it was exhilarating, but it's also very exhausting.
Yes.
At the same time. And, everybody,
I feel you.
to me, like, be careful, don't burn out, don't burn out. Just for sake of us caring about you, you don't have to share it with us. Do you have a plan for how to manage sort of this overwhelm of good stuff, right? That's still great stuff, but it's still a lot to process for you internally, but also you've got people that you're now communicating about on a regular basis. So do you have a plan to take care of you and all this? You don't have to tell us.
Then why are you asking it?
Well, you can tell it. You don't have to tell us the plan. I just want to make sure you have one. Sorry, I was not clear.
Oh, a plan? Just in terms of like receiving all these messages and like, how do I get through it all? No, absolutely not. I've gotten so many notifications, as you have this week, that it's like, I want to spend so much time focusing on it, right? But I also have my family, I have my work, I like to go on walks because of the headaches I get a lot. That fresh air helps with that. So do I have a plan? Absolutely not. I go in and check way too often and respond constantly because I feel like I need to, because people are being so generous and kind and all the things. And I'm curious to see what they're saying, and I want to respond to them in a timely way. As I'm sure you do.
Yeah, I went through exactly this, and not necessarily have I come up with a perfect plan. And anyone who has a plan or ways or suggestions, please put them in the comments. This is really hard when this starts happening to keep up. And you do want to keep in touch with people. But I'm going to give you some advice that a very smart person shared with me when I was getting overwhelmed and not getting back to people. He told me, people know where your heart is.
I wonder who told you that.
Yeah, I wonder if it's the guy next to me who is giving me some pretty great advice on, the overwhelm. And when you're wanting to get back to everybody, just know that people know where your heart is at. There's another smart guy that told me also, like, it's not when you get back to people, but that you do get back to people. And like, I'm working on it as well. Yes. I feel you. I want to take you to what took you to the doctor in the first place. And like, was cancer even in your mind anywhere when you went to the doctor for whatever symptoms you were having?
So I had gotten some purple bruises on my legs, which I had never gotten before. So I went to my primary care doctor. I was living in New Jersey at the time, but I didn't have a primary care doctor there. So I went to the one near my parents in New York. And so I went, they did some testing. They didn't say anything while I was there about like leukemia or whatever. They just did some testing, blood work, and whatever else they did. And as I was leaving the parking lot, they called me, like literally as I'm driving out the parking lot. And they said, you need to go to the hospital right now.
Okay, so no thought of cancer to now cancer's your life.
Who knew? I had no idea what to think at that moment. Like, I can't remember exactly if they had said the word cancer or leukemia at that point. I know they had been talking to my parents as well, and they might have known, and I may have not yet. But this was in 2008. I was 26 years old, I think. 28, 26. In my 20s. Yeah.
I do math. All right. So I'm imagining you go in for some bruises on your leg and you can't leave the parking lot, right?
I had to keep going.
Yeah, you had to go. Yeah, you could leave, but you only had one place you could go, and it wasn't back home.
No, it was 2 hours away.
What was going on in your life at that time? Like, what were you doing, like work-wise? Because I can only start to suppose, right? Like the things that go through your mind, like this is when you finally find out it's cancer, however you find out, like it's a life-altering decision. I can't imagine getting a cancer diagnosis, right? What would go through my head? What did it mean for work? What did it mean for my relationships? What did it mean for my future? Did I have a future? Are you able to share with us some of the thoughts that went through your mind?
Sure. So at that time, I was working at a newspaper in New Jersey. And I remember telling them because I had to tell them that I was going to be out for however many days, because I was in the hospital for somewhere around a week, maybe less, when I was diagnosed. And they were very supportive, very supportive. I was just starting to date my now wife, Joy, who she did not find out about this, or maybe I wasn't quite yet, but she found out about my leukemia because of an appointment slip that was on the refrigerator when she was at my apartment one day. I was not going to tell her. I didn't know what I was going to tell her. I mean, I was going to tell her at some point, obviously, but we had just started going out. So also just in terms of what was going through my mind, I didn't know what, I had no clue what to expect. The only thing I knew about leukemia was that I heard a kid in my school way back whatever elementary school or something, somebody with leukemia had died. And that's all that I knew. I didn't know anything about leukemia or anything. So I had no idea what to expect.
Okay, I feel terrified for you in that moment. I mean, you're amazing. I'm so proud of you. And what you're doing today is so great for you, but it's so great for so many other people, Tim, to take this step forward, be able and willing and wanting to talk about your journey and the hard spots and the places of like, I don't remember, I don't really know. And, still having that feeling, you maybe don't remember, but the feeling is there. And to have a conversation out loud, to put it out there, for it to have a life of its own and be outside of you is a big thing. So thank you. Thank you so much. You guys who are watching, please thank Tim. This is not easy. This is not easy at all to do. And I'm going to make it harder because I'm going to ask you, like, what was your hardest moment, your desperate moment?
My desperate.
So like your darkest moment where you had maybe lost hope or just were exhausted or things got into your head that were not helpful and were sort of pulling you down a path that really was scary or dark or anything like that?
I mean, probably the scariest moment was the drive from the doctor's office to the hospital and not knowing what was going to happen after that. I mean, after that, everybody was so supportive in terms of my family, in terms of all the doctors and nurses. And I still go to the same oncologist. I drive 2 hours away every 3 to 6 months to go to him because I just feel comfortable because he diagnosed me. He knows my whole history. And I'm happy to drive the 2 hours to see him.
I don't know exactly what your treatment plan was, but if you're comfortable sharing that with us, I think a lot of people don't really know, especially with chronic leukemias, how they're treated and how your disease is sort of measured and monitored.
Yeah. So it's different for different people. For me, I have to take oral chemo medication daily, 1 dose daily. So it's been that way since I was diagnosed. I used to take a medication called Gleevec, Gleevec. And then at some point, my leukemia levels started going up. Not a ton, but they were going up. So then they switched to something called Bostilif, which didn't agree with me. And now I take something called Sprycel, Sprycel, which is super expensive if you don't have insurance. Grateful that we do have really good insurance, but for so many who don't, it's a huge challenge.
And I'm going to take this moment, and I'm going to ask Brian Schulman to help me because I saw you put it in earlier. You know, when I first started hearing your story, being someone who cares about you, you know, and loves you and wants to see you just everything, like only good and everything good, even though I know that's unrealistic, right? You start telling me the story, and the first thing I felt was this sense of helplessness, right? I'm not a doctor. I don't know how to cure cancer. I felt like what do I offer you? Like, I love you and you're going through something every day that I'm learning about. And I felt helpless. And so what I wanted to share, and I wanted to give people an opportunity, if you're feeling similarly, or maybe you're having another feeling come up, there is a way you can do something. And the link here is so that you could donate to Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. And every little bit counts. If everyone here did $1, right, it would make a difference. It's not about how much. If you can do more, please break your bank if you're willing to. And as Tim said, this is not just about the person who's diagnosed. It's families go through this together and how expensive the medications are. And if you're unable to work, or like you said, the medication didn't agree with you, sometimes the side effects make it very hard to do anything. So if you, if you are able to, please donate. And here's our friend Steve, who also, he's the one who started Tim's. Well, he just sort of skyrocketed, I guess. I don't know. He just gave you a push.
Between the two of you, you both gave me a push.
Well, it was all in you the whole time. So looking back, I saw Jen Russman, who joined us, and James is here. Thank you guys. Jenny Gold, I just want to make sure I'm not missing Dorothy. That's who it was. I knew there was somebody else who joined. Dorothy, thank you for being with us. If you are here joining us at this point in the show for the first time, welcome. Thank you for being here. Our LinkedIn family, love you so much. This community is amazing. This is not my typical show, but it's a great show and an important show. And what I've done here tonight is give Tim space. When I started talking about telling my story, I wouldn't have been able to get it out there without people generously opening their space to me. So yes, while we normally come in and we have a more maybe lighthearted discussion and it's more topic based, today is for Tim to share his story so that people who need to hear it and find it. Looking back, is there any advice you would give to yourself or someone else starting on a journey similar to yours?
I guess be positive. Not that I wasn't, but at the very beginning, you just don't know what to expect. And I was very lucky to have a support system with my family and friends, and but I mean, it's hard to be positive, like once you find out that you have cancer and you don't know what's going to happen next. But I mean, surround people with, or hopefully you're surrounded by people that love you, right? Like Nancy here, like Brian, like everyone here. There's so many people that I'm grateful for that I've come in contact with, especially during the last year over this crazy pandemic. So I guess it would, try to be as positive as you can, hoping that, the best thing that's going to happen will. And if you have faith, embrace that. Whatever you believe in, embrace it. And yes, Nancy, you are asking good questions.
Thank you. And I was going to say,
Maybe.
Steve, if there are ones that I'm missing, please feel free to drop them in the comments, because our stories are so big and we've lived with them our whole lives. So it's kind of hard to know which pieces to tell, what I've told, what I haven't told, where do I start, where do I go? And so, oh, sorry, I'm reading. Okay, so Dorothy, it's on my Facebook channel, which is Nancy Debra, Debra, and it's also on my YouTube, which is Nancy Barrows, and it's on also Vibing with Nancy Debra. It's on 2 of my Facebook pages. So thank you. Anybody who believes this content would resonate with someone, help someone, would be interesting for them to hear, please tag them, give them a link, tell them where to find us. That's why we tell our stories. Okay, so Tim, I'm gonna ask the hard ones.
I'm waiting. I'm ready.
You're ready? Did you ever get to a point where you thought about dying?
No, not really.
What was your biggest fear? Okay, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, just because of the timeline of how everything happened, when I was diagnosed, when I ended up in the hospital, when I was out of the hospital, when I was on medications, it all happened so quickly that I didn't really have time to think about dying. I mean, maybe a little bit in the car from the doctor to the hospital, but not like in depth, like that I really thought it was going to happen.
And Steve put a question here, which I love. What did you struggle with the most?
I would say the unknown, like not knowing what will happen next, because you don't know.
Right. How do you cope with that? How do you live with that?
I mean, you surround yourself with people, like I was saying before, surrounding yourself with people that love you, having lots of friends and family. And I know this isn't the situation for everyone, right? Like, I should acknowledge this is my story. This isn't everybody's story. How things have turned out have worked out. I'm here, right? We're having this conversation. But everybody's story isn't the same as mine, So I want to make sure to acknowledge that.
That's very true. Thank you. So I've seen you get close to tears a couple of times talking about this. And I'm going to ask, what is that about? What is it that hits you? What are the things that hit you that bring up that emotion? There's something there, obviously, that it taps into, right? And I would love for you to share with us, like, what's that piece that keeps showing up in that, I don't know if it's sadness or you help me, just overwhelmed.
No, it's actually the opposite of sadness.
Okay.
It's I'm so privileged to have so many amazing people in my life right now. My family, you guys, everyone here. And since the pandemic started and I started the live streaming courses, and there's been more than 50 people in the live streaming courses from literally all over the world. And some of them are here right now. Like Carl Sullivan, it is 5 hours ahead of us in the UK right now, and he is here, right? Like, somebody math for me. That is amazing. So the tears are tears of thankfulness and happiness, and not sadness at all, because I'm so lucky to still be here, to be here with you today, and to be able to tell my story and inspire others.
Did it?
And no, you didn't get me to cry.
No, I don't need to get you to cry. Whatever needs to come out is going to come out. That's that's the reality of it. But were you surprised by the support you got? Have you not had this type of support before?
You mean like over the last week kind of thing?
Well, if it's the last week that's making you emotional, then yes, that's what I want to talk about. If it's more like you were talking about all the people you've met in general, like, was it surprising to you, the support and the love that came towards you in all of this?
in both situations, it didn't surprise me when I was diagnosed, and that, you know, family rallied around me and friends and things like that. Over the last week with the whole radiating real thing and coming out with this story on Friday and then being here again today, you know, I've gotten so many nice messages and comments, and I have a new radiating real bestie now, Kara Ulker, which, you know, there's that. So appreciate her. So I'm not really surprised, because especially on LinkedIn, but also Facebook, there's just so many amazing people out there that I've come in contact with over the last, even before the pandemic, of course, but especially since that has happened. I've met so many more people. So, and Brian and you, like Brian, I met Brian in person right before this pandemic went down, the beginning of March 2020 at Social Media Marketing World in the lobby. We met like for a few seconds. He took a selfie, and there was that.
Brian took a selfie?
Of course. Brian, I love you too. Got to get the lurv in there.
The lurv. One of the things that's been really profound for me to see is for you to take the step of that first video and being, you know, nervous, I guess, just not being comfortable with it. Let's put it that way. We're not being real comfortable with it, to being a person, and I don't know that you've taken this in, who is inspiring others.
Is that what it is?
That's what it is.
Is that what's going on?
I have seen your post, and I've seen what people are saying. And
yeah,
you are inspiring others.
I don't disagree.
How is that for you? How's that? I mean, come on. That's pretty big. I mean, to be able to say I'm inspiring other people and you're getting evidence right back.
No, it feels great. It feels great to inspire other people. I mean, before I did not create extremely inspiring content. Usually my content was around live streaming or marketing or social media marketing or something that did not tug at the heartstrings at all. But since Radiating Real, all of that has changed. And I've done 6 Radiating Real posts so far. And I don't even know how many people are doing them also now. Nancy, do you even know?
I
know
don't
they're like
have an exact, it's growing. I don't have an exact count, and I didn't check in today. So thanks for the grace, everyone. I haven't, but I will say it's exponential. And I see your name in the post a lot. Like, thank you, Tim Sohn, for inspiring me. You are helping to give my baby, my dream, momentum. And for that, I can't thank you enough. But I can see in you that it's like Jenny said, like whatever's happening is happening so quickly. In how you're changing. And I'd love to get I don't know how to ask the question of like, what is that? What's changed? And I'm going to ask it that way. I don't know if that's just too like, it's not going to get to the heart of it, but I don't, if someone has better words out there, I'm always open, but like, what has changed? Cause it's a lot.
Yeah. What has changed? A lot of things. I don't know. I mean, just like before, I never created a lot of content that was like behind the scenes or showing emotion or like that more vulnerable kind of content. I've just never been that kind of person. Not that kind of person, but just never have. And then when I started doing it, and then when I saw the reaction to it, I was like, I'm going to keep going, which I plan to keep going anyway, because I wanted to support you anyway. So that was my plan all along.
You were one of the first people who did do it and supported me. So thank you.
You're welcome. Yes, I am glowing. Thank you for mentioning that, Brian. Carl. Oh, Carl. I love Carl.
Yes, we do
You are
too.
inspiring
You're inspiring
people.
people in your training,
Right.
not just in sharing your story. It's just who you are and what you do naturally, right? You were doing it all along. But I think what's beautiful is that you now are getting that feedback from people. And I think you were not yourself maybe so inspired by what you were doing, where you were and what you were doing. And, that change.
Yeah. I think too that Kara, my new bestie, she had sent me a message after I did a Radiating Real post, and then she did one, and then somehow we ended up connecting, and I sent her a message, and she used this word to describe me. I can't remember what it was, but it meant something like mysterious. And I was like, oh, people think I'm
Enigmatic.
mysterious.
And was it enigmatic?
That might have been it. That sounds right.
Yeah.
Yeah. An E word.
Word.
Yeah. And I never really thought of it that way, but I never did really show that other sides of me besides like business, live stream Ninja Tim, as you proclaim me to be. Abby, you are the wind beneath the wings of men. Oh, Abby is amazing. She was in my course.
Yeah. Everybody here is amazing. The community that gathers here
Great.
and gathers not just here for the show, not just here for me, but here for you, for one another. I agree. It's pretty amazing. And Carl, I agree. I am going to mark my calendar because I'm going to give Tim some time to sort of be in all this for a bit, have some time to reflect, and really take in what people are telling him. Because I agree, this is exactly what's happening. And I see it right there. But I don't know if you're connecting with it or you're just sort of holding back. I can't tell. But I can't wait for you to be a little further away from this to be able to reflect on it. Jenny's saying, you inspired me to talk about my platform. I would not be talking about my story or anyone else's.
Thank you, Jenny.
Talk about impact, right? So many people here have said because of you, they were inspired to do whatever it is that they were doing, that they started doing, is telling their story or their live stream show or who knows, right? Radiating Real, you've inspired people to do.
Yeah, and I should say, sorry to interrupt you.
No.
I should say that a few weeks ago, I was feeling really stuck, just like in terms of everything. And this has really helped me, like the radiating real thing, the sharing content that's resonating more, that's more vulnerable, the sharing my story about leukemia. It has helped me move forward. And the feedback really helps too, right? Like hearing from people, connecting with people, because whatever is happening now in the US whatever's going on, hopefully we're emerging from this pandemic, but in many places it's not, so I need to acknowledge that as well. But I was feeling really stuck, and this has really helped me to, like, I look forward to doing Radiating Real posts every day now. And I'm like always taking pictures, whether I'm like waking up at 1 o'clock in the morning with a headache or whatever is going on. I'm like taking pictures all the time to use with them to help tell the story.
Thank you, James. Definitely telling your story, and you've definitely let us in, right?
Thanks for letting me.
Oh my gosh, it's really been amazing, to, and I've told you this, to like learn about all the sides of you, get to know you as a multidimensional human, because you are. And I think it happens a lot here. We're on here, LinkedIn Live or social media, and we might have a purpose. Thank you, Brian. A purpose, like we're here for business, and your classes, that's what you were talking about, and didn't feel for whatever reason, and maybe you can share that sharing the other side of you was, you were able to, or it was important. Again, I don't want to put words in your mouth for you, is there just wasn't something you thought to do? I'm not sure. So help us understand that. What was holding you back from sharing more personal content?
I guess I just didn't know what I wanted to share. I mean, I wouldn't say that I didn't share personal content. Like, I would share things about my family. Like, I was a Zoom dad from January to March. And so I took a lot of pictures and I wrote a lot of things about that. And I was a stay-at-home dad for 6 years also. So like, family is super important to me, and I tend to create content around that, and live streaming and coffee. That's about it. Not really like in depth, not even in depth, but like more like emotional kind of stuff or motivational kind of stuff. That kind of content, I don't like, even just for me, it never really resonated before anyway. Like the mindset or like that kind of stuff, it just never resonated for me. So it's like, I don't know, so I just kind of like, I would do content around live streaming, or Zoom dad was cool. Love those family pics. I actually miss being Zoom dad because I got to see what our kids were actually doing every day. I mean, it kind of stunk that they had to like do a recorded video for gym and exercises instead of, playing games. But yeah.
Okay, so I heard all that, but I didn't, and maybe I missed it. But what was holding you back? Like, you just weren't inspired by other people's, or what, when they did it, or you just didn't think it was valuable, or?
I don't know. I don't really know why. I didn't. Also, I've always been really horrible about creating content for myself. Besides live shows, like we've been doing the Tim and Jim show for almost 3 years. Been working on Brian's show for a year and whatever it is, right? Live shows I love doing. I love coming on. I love interacting with people. If it comes to recorded videos, until this week, if it comes to any other kind of content, it's not, I'm not super excited about it. Tim, you have the motivational stuff in you. Let it out.
Sorry,
I'm working on it, Steve. Thanks.
Steve, do you have any advice for Tim? Does anyone? I mean, Steve, I think you are uniquely qualified, having, your experience with cancer, and it's everybody's is different, but there's some commonality for, that's the human experience. So I invite you, Steve, to give some advice if you have. And yeah, again, I don't think Tim knows his own true value. I would agree. I know that you're inspiring. I know that you like it. But I don't know if you really understand what that means. And I'm reading the posts, and I know other people are too. And Tim, like, what you're doing, what you are creating, the space you are creating, the invitation by leading by example that you are offering to people. And because of how you're doing it, they're taking the invitation, and they're inspired, and they're taking steps into unknowns and uncomfortable. And as you know, unknown is really uncomfortable.
And I'm sensing a Frozen theme here, because Brian has on the screen, let it go, let it go. And you're talking about into the unknown.
Oh, that's right. I forgot that's the second one, right?
Yes.
All right. But I think, like, one day at a time, making the most of each day. That is important for everyone. Thank you, Steve. It's a very good reminder. And Brian agrees with that as well. So anything else about your story? We have some time left, and bring you back to, that you are here to tell about your story in leukemia. And we've talked about your journey in the most recent time, but is there anything else that you've been wanting to share with people?
I mean, like, you never know if you're going to have it tomorrow. So like, everything you do, think about, like, how is that going to affect you? How is that going to affect your family? How is that going to affect your friends? Like, go out of your way to be nice to people. I think one thing that happened with this pandemic, at least right at the beginning of it, was people were much more kind, like out of nowhere, because we were all going through so much. But I think something, something's flying around.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not a tick. Yesterday I had a tick on Jenny. Friday I had tick on Jenny's show. So
I heard that.
You have to have the insect.
I appreciate you leaving the ticks behind for this one.
Yes.
I am going to put 2 comments that have just come up on the screen because I want you to see them and really hear them. Tim doesn't look at himself in that light, right? And that's what makes you amazing human you are. You don't even know your power. You're so humble, so incredibly humble. And I agree. That's part of why what you're doing is happening the way it's happening. And then this one from Abby. Let me put it bluntly. Tin Zone, you have transformed my life for the better. It will never be the same again.
Thank you, Abby. I really appreciate that. It's been a complete honor to get to know you and work with you. And you have your Self-Care TV live show now yourself, and you're blossoming and almost onions.
Well, here's all right, and I'm going to do it. It may not work, but I'm going to bring you back because you thanked. You thanked Abby, right?
Yep.
Which is lovely, and it's who you are.
Yeah.
To be grateful for her in your life, right. But she's saying to you that you, Tim Sohn, have transformed her life for the better. That's about you. We all know Abby's great, but not many people can have that said about them, that you have transformed my life for the better. It will never be the same again.
True. Grateful.
Nancy, this touches people. It's needed and so important. Thank you both. My pleasure.
Thank you, James.
My pleasure. All right, so we've got 13 more minutes of torture. How are you doing, by the way?
Torture, wow.
Okay, how are you doing?
I'm good. This is great. It's a little weird. No social distancing, no filters. I'm the guest. I'm adjusting. I'm learning.
Speaking of change.
Yes, all those things.
Okay, so with what's going on in your world, you have been invited to speak in Ohio. You are radiating real every day. You are connecting with people on a different level than ever before. What's coming for you? What's the changes that you are manifesting now?
Yeah, so those things on August 11th and 12th, I'm speaking at Social Media Week Lima in Lima, Ohio, on how to make massive impact with live video. So I'm super excited about that because I've never been a speaker officially. I've organized lots of local workshops and hosted them, but first speaking event. And Nancy also has a speaking event coming up, right, Nancy?
I do have a speaking event that we will talk about another time. Mine's not till July.
Tell us.
Okay. I have been given the honor to be asked to be the keynote speaker at an event July 17th back east called the Storyteller's Homecoming. Thank you, Tim. I appreciate your bringing it up. But you also have something July 12th that you have thrown together in the not thrown together. It's thoughtful, but it's like from inception, like idea to doing it was like it was done. I talked to you in the morning.
Yeah.
These are the things I would need to do to make this happen. By the afternoon, I was like, okay, well, I've got the venue. I did it. Like it was all done. It was all done. So tell us what you've been up to.
Yeah. So on July 12th, there is an event that's both in person here in Northeast Pennsylvania, but it will also be live streamed. And it's called How to Plan In-Person Events Again. So basically how to create engaging in-person events, but at the same time, make people feel comfortable, both in person, but online. So that is coming up on July 12th. And I'm really excited. It's my first in-person hosting a workshop while also online. It's actually, well, I've done both before, but since the pandemic started, my first hosted in-person workshop. So I agree with Carl. Well done, Nancy. Yes. Yes. Take the credit. Take it.
Thank you. Yes, I will take the credit. Thank you. I am very grateful for the opportunity, and I am humbled to have been asked to be a keynote speaker. I think similar to you, Tim, this has been a very fast transformation, a very,
right?
It's been, can't remember Space Mountain fast. Like I got on the ride and before I knew it, everything was happening. And so it has taken me a bit to catch up to that and be able to say, I was actually at a work party last night and at work, most people don't know what I do, here on LinkedIn. And people were asking me, oh, what are you doing this summer? And I decided, you know what, every aspect of my life, this is who I am. And this is what's going to be out there. And I was telling them, and it was one of the first times because it was people who didn't know what I was doing, where I really sort of like, I could feel myself just stand a little taller and be like, when they were responding, like, yeah, actually, when people who haven't heard what you're doing are like, oh my gosh, and they kind of tell you back what you're like, oh my gosh, you've been doing this and this, and then now you're going to be a keynote speaker. It's a moment of like, yeah, I am.
Blow it up for Nancy in the comments.
Oh, stop it.
Congratulations.
I am me. Like I am, this is me. I'm doing this. It's happening.
You are.
So
proud of you.
Thank you. I am very proud of you. It's a mutual admiration society. Brian Schulman, will you put the link up one more time? Hi, Mark. I see you. Welcome in. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, Mark Lee.
We are here. We've been talking about change, mostly in and around what's been going on for Tim. Him starting to share his story of living with chronic leukemia and the transformation that he's been going through in these last couple of weeks. He credits Radiating Real for that, but I will say it's been there the whole time. I'm glad that an outlet that I created was what helped you to find it. How's that? Can we agree on that one?
We can agree on that part, yes.
Okay, we can agree on that one. So, okay, the grace in both of you makes my heart smile. I'm truly proud of both of you, and I'm so lucky to have you both in my life. I'm not going to do it. Not to be cliche. Thundercats. Oh,
wait. No, wait.
All right, Brian.
Which way are we doing it?
Is he getting the screenshot?
Wait, it goes up, right?
Yeah, it's up. Am I not up? Okay.
That's better. Okay. Everybody's like, what is going on?
Oh no, they know. They know exactly what's happening. We're kidding. And Steve, gosh, you guys.
Yes.
Thank you. And here, Tim, you are a true inspiration and a leader in our community. And he means the world community, not just our community here on LinkedIn. And I agree.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Nancy.
You're welcome. As we get toward wrapping up here, I shared this earlier in the show as well, and we can take a pause. And I have my wallet here, so I want to do it. But when I started hearing Tim's story, you hear someone you love, and while Tim is great, he's doing well, and he's living his life, and we don't see it every day. I know that he's living with this, right? With leukemia, this chronic illness, and I think the people who live with these types of adversities often have an attitude of positivity, and that's what we put out to the world. So you don't necessarily know what else is going on. And so when Tim started sharing this with me, it was so vulnerable and so profound to me, and I found myself feeling helpless. What can I do, right? What can I do to support you? What can I do to help? And I'm not a doctor. I can't cure cancer. I can't make your medications cost less. I can't make your headaches go away. I can't make you worry less about tomorrow when that comes up for you, right? I don't have those skills so much, but what I can do is I can donate to the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society and support something that's important to you and that I know that you and your family received support from, early on when you were going through just the beginning stages of having gotten your diagnosis. And actually, I'm going to give you a chance to tell people what they did. Like, let's shout out to the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. Like they really, you hear about these organizations, and sometimes you could go a whole lifetime without ever knowing someone that was actually helped by the organization. And so another great reason to donate here is, you guys, we know someone who benefited from the generosity of other people. So Tim, please tell us how the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, stepped in for your family. And I'm getting my wallet.
Thank you, Nancy. The Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, they were and are helpful in so many ways. They are constantly doing research to find new treatments and advance what's going on to help from a science perspective. They provide some funding, which I received back when I was diagnosed. I think I had said it costs more than $10,000 a month for my medication. That's just for 1 month, right? That's like more than $100,000 in 1 year, just to have that. They also have family support groups in certain areas of the country. So like my mom, at least before the pandemic hit, she used to actually go in person nearby, and she would meet with other family members and survivors of leukemia. And that I know it's really important for my mom. So those are just some of the ways: family support, financial support. They also hold different educational workshops and things like that in person, and I'm sure also now online. So in so many different ways, they're changing people's lives. So appreciate all of you who do donate to them.
And you're changing lives as well. They're doing just what you're doing. Thank you, Jenny and Mark.
Yes, thank you.
And okay, we have 3 minutes, and I was going to donate right now, but I'm distracted, but I do, and I'm going to got my credit card. Nobody can steal my info. So as soon as we're done here, I am going to donate, and I encourage everybody else to give what they can, even if it's as a symbolic gesture. You guys, I am grateful that I don't live with chronic cancer. Right. And I'm sure there's a lot of people when they hear their story that have that moment of, thank God it's not me. We know our stories, we live with them. They become second nature to us. But living with chronic cancer is no joke. It is a serious illness. It is something that you take, chemotherapy drugs for every day.
Forever,
for the rest of your life, right?
That's right.
So this is a big deal. And if I can give a little to make this journey easier for you or anyone else that is taking it, it's certainly worth opening my wallet, whether it be $5, $20, $100. Whatever you can do does make a difference. And they do important work. You're right, Abby. And like I said, it's helpful to meet someone who's been the recipient of that generosity. Steve, you want to share your story more? Woo, woo. We need everyone sharing their story. Everybody has a story, and everybody's story is important. And telling it, it's going to reach the person who needs to hear it most. Just trust that is what happens. And you will get confirmation, just like Tim has gotten, just like I have gotten. People really... when it reaches them and it hits them the way they need it, people let you know. So all of you have a story. We all do. And I encourage you all to share it. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to Mark, thank you. We have been talking about he doesn't even realize his own impact, and this is new to him. And thank you, Brian. I was going to get to this. You're such a good Debbie. And thank you. This is our first night on James Menarcis's channel, and he has generously given me this space that I am now able to share with you, Tim, and every week with our LinkedIn family as we bring connected human conversations, as we always do on Sunday evenings at 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. Live to you guys, and you are the reason I am here every week. You all inspire me. You are the reason that I look forward to Sunday evenings. When I have the opportunity to be with you, I feel so energized and I feel privileged. I feel privileged for you to want to be here and choose to spend your time and yourselves with us on Sunday evening. Okay. Yes, he's been trying. He's been trying. And he's done it a couple of times, but I brought him back. We've been playing tug of war up here.
It is hard. It is hard to not be the host when you're usually a host.
It's hard. Absolutely.
But bravo to Nancy for doing an amazing job.
Oh, thank you, Tim.
You're welcome.
I had a conversation with a friend, so it was pretty easy on my end. And I hope that while I know it is a challenging thing to do, I hope that it felt safe and comfortable. Obviously, I'm going to assume it did because you decided to share with all of us here tonight your journey. And I look forward to seeing more Radiating Real. I look forward to seeing more authentic Tim. I look forward to seeing more posts about more speaking engagements and more summits and workshops that you are putting on and sharing your wisdom with people. The world needs more of you, Tim. Thank
you, Nancy Barrows.
Please.
Appreciate you giving me the opportunity to share the space with you tonight and tell my story and be here with you, my friend, and all of you friends as well.
Okay, you guys. So I know most of you are already connected with Tim, but get connected. And the other thing I'm going to ask you all to do, please share this show with someone. There is someone in your network who would benefit from hearing it. Maybe it's a cancer thing, or just maybe it's a struggle, a stuck and getting unstuck thing. Maybe it's the place of needing to find positivity or be inspired, which is exactly what Tim is doing. So find one person in your network and share the story with them. Go ahead, the show with them. Go ahead and tag them in the comments and give them the little gift of, connected human conversations and the conversation that we have had here tonight.
And the love.
And the love. I love you. Good night, everyone. Have an amazing, amazing Sunday evening. Tim, I cannot thank you enough. Thank you for being here, and thank you for sharing your story with us. Good night, everyone.